Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I was sitting down last week and I was kind of mapping out some content that I was going to do for Instagram and threads. And I was planning out a post on a topic. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast. It needs to be an episode all of its own. It's going to be probably short and sweet, but it's very important information. It's something that I think often gets overlooked. And that is the color of your period blood and what that can kind of tell us, what's normal, what we want to watch for, what we want to see, and just honestly, the fact that we should be looking at it and inspecting it per se when we're having our period each month. It's not something that we should just, I don't know, wipe away and try to not even see or ignore that is there. It's nothing to be shameful of, it's nothing to be grossed out by. It's just another point of data that our body is giving us that can give us clues about what is going on with our hormones and if we're in a good place with our hormones or if things are out of balance or starting to become out of balance. So, this is your friendly reminder that when your period rolls around the next time, please pay attention to what color your bleeding is and how it changes throughout your cycle because the number of days, some people have a very short period where they're only bleeding for 3 or 4 days. Other people bleed for nearly 7 days, or bless you, some of you more. And we're not even, I'm not going to get into the length of bleeding and what's normal there. I literally just in this episode want to talk about the color of the blood. So, what I will say from the very beginning is that when your period starts and you're having maybe just it's kind of just spotting to begin with, and then, things kind of get very, very light at the end and things are kind of drying up, it's okay to see a little bit of brown at those two times because things are just slowly getting started and then trying to finish up. But you should not see brown blood all throughout your cycle. And that's actually a question that I have gotten recently. And that brown color is indicating that there's some old blood there, that maybe the lining didn't fully shed the last time, or maybe you have irregular cycles and you've went a really long time period between periods, and periods of bleeding. And so it has been very stagnant there. So I wanted to touch on that first because I had very specifically gotten that question recently. But then I want to talk about what the other colors and the other things mean. And when we're looking at this and examining this period blood color, I really want you to look at it on the days where you are having actual flow, not on maybe that very first day where you're just kind of spotting, but the flow hasn't actually started. And then, of course, again, like I said, on that last day where you still just got a little bit of discharge going on, a little bit of spotting, but you're not actually having flow. We are talking about when there's actual flow. So let's start first off with what we want to see. We want to see a bright red to dark red, like a rich blood color. That means that you are having a healthy period, that your estrogen and progesterone levels are in a healthy place, and that is what we want to see. Now, one caveat to this is the presence of clots. It's okay to see some small clots throughout your cycle, but we do not want to see numerous or large or numerous and large amounts of clots while you are bleeding. That would be an indicator that there is an imbalance. Typically, that's going to come back and be linked to your estrogen levels, but we would kind of need to test and see to make sure. But that is not something that we expect to see or want to see. If you have small occasional clots that are passing, like dime size or less, that is okay. If they are larger than that and they are pretty frequent, or your whole period feels very clotty, then that is, something that is we need to be concerned about and we need to be further investigating. Now, you may also have some very light colored bleeding. So that's going to be like a pink. It may almost be like a translucent color or maybe appear a little bit orangey. That would indicate that there is low estrogen. And we would want to investigate that also in comparison to what your progesterone levels are. That real light colored blood could sometimes indicate that either the lining is not sufficiently being built up, um, or there's an imbalance between your estrogen and progesterone. And especially for those of you that are thinking about conceiving or planning for future pregnancies, that's really important because we have to have a healthy enough lining and we have to have a sufficient amount of progesterone to sustain a healthy pregnancy. And then lastly, some people can at times see blood that is almost like a grayish color, like very dark, almost, it's not black, but just like very dark, kind of gray. And that is typically going to indicate that there is old blood and or some type of infection, or could even be from a miscarriage. So that would also, be reason for concern and just needing to investigate a little further. So to quickly recap on what you want to see, you want to see when you are having your days of flow, you want to see healthy, rich looking red blood with no or very few small clots. Now, if you are concerned about your hormones, about your periods, if you're struggling with symptoms, I have developed a new tool that I'm very excited about. It is linked in the show notes for you, should be on every episode moving forward, but I'll link it at the very top today, specifically for this episode, since I'm just launching this and putting it out there for the very first time. That way it's easy to grab. I have developed a period report card quiz. And this is 9 questions that you can click the link, go answer super quickly, and it's going to give you a score for your period and some information to tell you what your score and the symptoms that you shared with me are indicating, and what you might need to do about it, and some reasons why you might be having either those symptoms or your period showing up in a certain way, like period blood and its color is one of the questions that I ask about on the quiz, because again, our body and our hormones and our cycle gives us so much information, but we have to know what to do with that information, and we have to know what that information actually means in order for it to be useful for us. Otherwise, it's just not very helpful. So I know I said this episode was going to be short and sweet. That's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope that you take the time to take that period quiz and see what your scores are. So I'll talk with you guys next week.